I've been wanting to do one of these hand casting kits for a long time. My mum's birthday's coming up very soon, and I thought I'd give it to her as one of her birthday gifts. Now, this kit comes with everything you need, including a wooden base to pop the item on once you've done it, 2 buckets. It also comes with some practice stuff, which I'm not going to use. I'm going to keep that for something else, because why would you do a practice? Comes with full instructions, which I have actually read, some stirring sticks, some sandpaper, and your moulding stuff. Now, I do know that the mould that you make from this is only a temporary mould. It's not something you can keep casting over and over again, but I'm not worried about that. That's not the whole point of me doing it. So this is all done by weight. I've got my scales here ready. Now, I would strongly suggest that you wear a mask whenever using any powders like this. What I need to use is the actual moulding powder in the bigger bucket, and this is alginate. I don't know how you say that. And apparently it turns purple once it's fully mixed. Now, blue and purple look exactly the same to me, so that could be a problem. But who knows? We'll see. Whatever the amount of powder you've got, you use 4 times that weight in water. And it needs to be a warm water, not a cold water. And it does tell you roughly the temperature that you need as well. Now, before I mix that, what I'm going to do is prepare my arm and my son's arm. Just to make life a little bit easier, is to stick a bit of baby oil on my hand and arm. All around everywhere. If you've got any rings, I would suggest you take your rings off. But it will cast rings, but, you know, I would take them off. So I'm only putting a little bit on, not much. Oh, it smells lovely. So hopefully that way it's not going to pull out the hairs on my arm. So to make this easier, what I've done is I've measured out my 2,640 grams of water separately in a separate bucket that I can just pour in here and mix up, because I think that will make life a lot easier. My son is here now, waiting, ready for me to mix this up. Say hello, Jordan. How was that saying hello, Jordan?
It's not.
And now I'm going to pour that in there. And you need to mix this really quickly. And apparently it turns purple. So Jordan, you'll be able to tell me when it's turned purple. That's gone pretty purple. It's still a bit lumpy. So we need to get rid of as much of those lumps as possible and make that as smooth as possible, because we don't want any lumps in it. It's quite lumpy, and maybe I shouldn't have mixed it quite like that. That'll be all right. And we've already decided on the position that we want our hands in, ready to put in this, because I think that was important before, rather than letting it set up completely. And you need to mix this for about 60 seconds, no more. There we go. That is going to have to do. You put your hands in. You make sure they don't go right down to the bottom or touch the sides. And then you hold that position for 5 minutes. And then what you do is you tap the sides as you're going round to try and release some bubbles out from this periodically. Well, that seems to have set well enough now. So what we're going to do is try and remove our hands. So what I'm going to do is my hand is on the top. So I'm going to wiggle my fingers a bit, let it come out, and bring my hand out gently. And you're going to do the same, Jordan. Yeah, it does look like it in there. It's cast it quite well, but we will have to see. So there are a few straggly bits like that obviously I don't want in there. I'm just going to remove those. And this ring around the edge, I don't want that there. What I can see is that there are a few bubbles trapped in this, and that will show in the cast at the end, but that'll be really easy to deal with. And I honestly cannot see a way that you could do this without getting those bubbles trapped in there, because it does cure so quickly. Now I'm going to start mixing up my casting stone, and the casting stone is easy to measure out. For every 100 grams of the powder, you need 30 grams of water. That's a 10-to-3 ratio. If you use something else other than grams, ounces or whatever, as long as you're using 10 ounces to 3 ounces of water, then you're going to be absolutely fine. Wear a mask when you're pouring this out. You don't want to be breathing in powders like this. So that's given me 1,200 grams. I will need 360 grams of water to go in there to mix up. And now you need to mix this up until it becomes like a thin milk. And this mixes really, really easily. Hopefully I've got enough in here, because if not, I will have to use the spare one that I've got and pour that on top. And this should be cured within about 25 to 30 minutes, ready to take out of the mould. Yeah, that's lovely and mixed. So I'm going to pour that in there now. So I've poured half in. I'm going to give it a bit of jiggy wiggy and tappy wappy around to get any bubbles to come up. And now I'm going to pour the rest in slowly. Oh, I think there is enough. Do you know what? There was absolutely spot on enough. How about that? So I'm going to tap around this bowl gently and leave that to cure. Well, this has all gone nice and hard now. It's been about 30 minutes. But you still want to be as gentle as you possibly can with it, because it's still going to be fragile until it's fully hardened. Squeeze and try and get some air down the sides of this mould so that I can then tip it out. Bloop. There we go. And it's completely out. Nice clean bucket. Carefully pull this mould away from that casting, because like I said, this is just a temporary mould. We know that when we make it. Oh, and that has come out really, really well. Look at that. There are a few little lumps and bumps on this. Looks like I've got age spots, and that's where the bubbles were. Well, this has been drying now for 5 days and it is completely solid. But you can see on here, just in those sort of spaces there, that there are a few little bumps. I don't want them to be there in the finished piece. I'm just taking a sharp blade like this and literally they just ping off and they don't leave a mark behind. It is amazing the details that it has picked up on my hand. I'm so surprised. And the details that it's picked up on Jordan's hand as well. I'm going to give that a good brush over to make sure that I remove any dust that's on there. We could leave this as it is in this white stone colour and just give it a clear varnish. I want to spray it gold really to see what it looks like sprayed gold. While that's outside being dried, what I'm doing is staining this pine disc, because I don't want that to be normal pine, and I'm going to be using an antique pine stain for this. I would not normally put this on with a cloth, but actually I'm going to put this on today with a brush going along the grain like this. And that should soak that in really well. Give it a bit more interest rather than the bare wood. Although the bare wood would change colour over time. Now I'm going to be testing out whether I can use this kit with resin on my other channel. So keep out an eye for that as well. And now that's all lovely and dry, what I'm going to do is just go over it with a layer of beeswax. The natural beeswax. Put that in there. That will also give it a little bit of a sheen, but it will feed that wood and make it lovely. Once that's been sat in there and nicely absorbed, I can give that a bit of a buff, and that will give it a really nice finish. Well, that's all finished now. I'm really pleased how it's come out. Now, I know it's not all everybody's taste to spray it gold, but I like things sprayed gold. I like things really sparkly. The details are lovely in it, and it really does show the difference between, or I can see the difference between mine and Jordan's hand. I think it will make a lovely gift, and I'm sure it will be something that my mum will really enjoy having. I'll leave the links to everything in the description below. Be sure to check out the video that's coming up next if you want to learn more about how to upcycle and create different crafts. Boot that like button, because that way I know the sorts of videos that you enjoy as well, and I can keep making more of those. And hit that subscribe button so you're not missing out on any of my future videos. Take care, enjoy your crafting, bye.